Okay, I think I am. Should I start? Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual Triangle SciTech Expo with the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. My name is Nancy, and I will be your host for another wonderful story created by Izzy Lambert called Aspen's Big Idea, How She Helps Sammy the Salamander. Now, some of you might remember Izzy's first story where she introduces Sammy the Salamander. If you haven't seen it yet, you can always watch it in our YouTube website, and the story is called Savvy Salamanders and Their Homes in Trees. So we can even put that link in the chat for you all. Now, we do want to hear from you, so please use that chat box. And one of the questions that Izzy and I have for you right now is, if you had a chance to talk to an animal, what kind of animal would you like to talk to? And what kind of things would you talk about? So you can put that in the chat. And while you are doing that, I'm going to introduce our speaker. So Izzy Lambert is a third-year student at NC State University, and she's currently pursuing a degree in fisheries, wildlife, and conservation biology. And she's an environmental education intern with We Plant It Forward. That's a nonprofit organization that focuses on restoration and preservation of the environment. So some of the services they provide are like tree planting and tree giveaways, rain barrel workshops, and environmental education. So Izzy is on target to graduate next semester and pursue a career either in environmental education and or the nonprofit field. So Izzy, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we do have that question that we asked everybody, and we already have an answer. And I was wondering if you wanted to know those answers.
Yeah, I would love to.
You would love to? Okay, great. So Maggie says that she would love to talk to a turtle. And the thing that she would ask that turtle would be how it feels to carry a shell around its body. And I think that's a good idea. Now, I'm going to see if we have other, we do have other. So somebody says that they would like to talk to an anteater. And the question that they would have for that anteater would be like, what do ants taste like? So those are kind of like very fun, topics to talk to an animal about. But you're not talking to, your character is not talking to anteaters or turtles, right?
No, she's going to be talking to a salamander.
Oh, that's right. Awesome. Sammy the salamander. Well, we are going to get ourselves ready. So as usual, we put our, listening ears on and maybe our invisible goggles so we can see our presentation. And we're ready for you to share that with us.
Okay, great. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to share this story I wrote for you guys today. And as we just talked about a little bit, this story is about a little girl and her passion for the environment and science, and how she goes on her own personal journey finding a way to give back and help her community. And this story is called Aspen's Big Idea, How She Helps Sammy the Salamander. And as we just talked about, there will be some interactive questions throughout the story. So please speak up and type anything you're thinking in the chat. And I would love to hear what your answers to questions are. And it's okay to say you don't know the answer to something. I'm always happy to explain anything. Hi, Hi, everyone. My name is Aspen. Right now, I am sitting on the bus on my way home. I can't wait to tell my parents about my day. I went to the Science Museum with my class today. It was my first time going. I learned so much about the environment, animals, and history. I jump off the school bus and run inside my house to tell my parents all about it. I tell them how much fun I had and that now I know what I want to do. I want to do something that will make the world a better place. So my first question for you guys is, what about you? What do you want to do to make the environment a better place? Because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I never really thought about this question before. But going to the Science Museum today really inspired me to think more about my impact on the world and how I can do something to give back. So what about you guys? What's something you can think of?
So we are looking at the chat and it's pretty quiet right now, but I know what I would like to talk about to do for the environment, basically. So whenever I walk with my dogs, I always see trash on the walkways. And so one of the things that I want to do is take a little plastic bag with me and some plastic gloves and maybe pick up some of the trash that I see on my way. And I think some of the other people were thinking about the same thing. Now, there are some viewers that actually want to find a home for some animals. And they also want to protect the land from development for wildlife. So those are all good answers, I think.
Yeah, those are all great answers. I think especially the picking up trash would be such an easy way to help clean up where you live and just give back a little bit. So that's a really good answer. But also trying to protect animals and land is also really important.
That's true.
I am so interested that I sit at my desk to do some of my own research. I find more information about climate change, pollution, and endangered species. But as I read more and more, I begin to feel nervous and worried. Why aren't more people talking about this? And why aren't more people doing something about this? I rack my brain. Is there anything I can do to help? Is it even possible for me to make a change? All of a sudden, I feel so small, like I will never have a solution big enough to solve this problem. So I'm wondering about you guys. Have you heard about climate change or endangered species or pollution before? Maybe you've heard of one of these topics or all of them. And maybe there's a lot of ways you could have heard about them, maybe on the news or your parents talk about it or just in school. So I'm wondering what you guys know about it.
Yeah, and that's a great question. It's a very current topic. So we are looking at the chat, and so there are definitely some things that have popped up in the news for sure.
Yes.
And somebody had mentioned that they have heard about climate change, but they don't really quite understand it. It's like the planet is getting warmer, but then sometimes you have those really cold spells, so it doesn't really make sense sometimes. And then also somebody said that it all makes that viewer a little bit sad, actually very sad, and they do want to do something to help. And that's the feeling that most of us have, right? We want to do something about this. We want to help in some way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a really good point, that these topics can be really confusing, and it can be confusing when you're first hearing about it and learning about it. But it's important to do research and educate yourself more, and also like talk to other people about it so you can understand it better. And I was about to talk about it a little bit more because I was so shocked after doing some more research and reading about these topics. And I learned facts such as how over half the world's species face extinction. And as we were just talking about with climate change, due to increased greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and everything, some parts of the world have gotten extremely hot. And so there's a greater risk of heat waves. But also, as we talked about with the cold spells, it means that there just might be more extreme weather in general. So some parts of the world might be really hot, but then others might have more extreme weather and natural disasters and stuff like that. But also, I learned that there's at least 8 million tons of plastic that end up in our oceans every year, which is equivalent to over 10,000 soccer fields. And we talked about this a little bit before, but I was going to ask you guys, how do these topics make you feel? And hearing more about them and hearing about these facts, what are some of the emotions that they bring up for you?
Well, Miranda, she says that actually wants her to change her habits, so that it would reduce, her carbon footprint or her water footprint. And some people say that, it makes them really afraid about the future, and they get worried. And some of the feelings are also, becoming a little bit mad as well. I mean, those are all feelings that pop up.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say too. I was going to say that this makes me feel so scared, and learning about these for the first time can make you feel really worried and nervous and angry, and also almost helpless. Like, they're such big problems, and it can feel really overwhelming to try to find a solution for them. But I am suddenly so tired from all the time I spent reading. I fall into my pillow and I go straight to sleep. The next morning, I open my eyes to the sun shining through my windows. My parents tell me we're going hiking in the mountains. We walk through the trees and up rocks, and I think about how peaceful it is being near the sun, water, and flowers. As it's getting darker, we start to head back to the car. I walk around some rocks near a creek when I hear a little voice say, "Hi, hi." I look down confused. It sounds like it's coming from the ground, but how would the ground be speaking? I kneel down to inspect closer. Look, there's a little salamander. He is almost invisible with his mossy green and black pattern. "Hi," I say out loud while I'm thinking, am I imagining this? He responds, "Hi, my name is Sammy. I hope I didn't bother you, but I have been desperately looking for someone to help me. I live here in the mountains, and some people are planning on doing construction soon. We are going to lose so many trees and so much habitat that I and other animals used to live in. I know you might not be able to stop it, but please keep us in mind. Other animals just like me depend on trees as important habitat in order to survive." I am so surprised. I think to myself, is this salamander really talking to me? This problem sounds really urgent. I look at him and say, "I am so sorry. I want to help. What can I do? Do you have any suggestions?" And he just says, "Help speak up for us. We need more people like you to be our voice." And before I have time to respond, he scrambles away, and I almost feel like it's a dream. Where'd he go? So I'm wondering, how would you guys feel after just having that conversation with Sammy? Because I know right now, I can't believe I just talked to a salamander and it doesn't even feel real. And while I'm really worried about Sammy, I also do feel a little special that he chose me to ask for help. But what would you guys be thinking right now?
So that's definitely something that everybody wants to do if they would be able to hear Sammy talk like that. They, at first, it would feel a little bit awkward and maybe crazy, but oh, so cool as well. And then, once everything kind of like trickles into your brain, you're like thinking, what can I do? How can I help? And so it wants some people to actually save the forest. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really hard to believe that a salamander could even talk to begin with. But yeah, I think that I'm feeling really stressed and I want to find a good way to help him. And exactly, I think saving the forest would be really important, or just finding a way that relates to that would be really important. But now we are in the car heading home, and I am filled with concern and I just can't stop thinking about Sammy. I know I can do something to help. I just need to think. I do my best thinking in my room. So I get on my computer to do some research. Sammy mentioned trees, so I'll start researching those first. I learned just how important trees really are. For example, I had no idea that there are over 2,000 kinds of trees we use for different types of medicine. But while I'm thinking about ideas, I'm wondering, do you guys have any ideas on how I could help Sammy? Because I'm feeling so stressed about thinking of a good solution. And since he depends on trees so much, I'm thinking about the different types of trees animals use and the different ways I could plant them, or maybe just different ways I could tell people about how important trees are. But I'm wondering if you guys have any ideas.
So we have somebody who actually wants to plant trees, and they were wondering where they could actually plant them so that they won't be cut down. So maybe in their own backyard or anywhere else. And they also were thinking about doing things to stop the construction, making people aware that there is construction going on, and maybe trying to save some of the plants that are still there and some of the trees that are still there. So those are some of the things that we could do and we could tell Sammy.
Yeah, those are all great ideas. And I think that's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking more about different ways I might be able to find trees and plant them, and that could help. And I was thinking about stopping the construction, but I think even though that'd be really helpful, I would have to get so many people involved, and my mom and other adults. So I'm trying to think of something that maybe I can do with like my friends and help. But wait, I have the perfect idea. I just need to do some more research on where to get some supplies. And I'm going to message my school friends and ask for help. After all this research, I am super tired. I'm going to bed, but I am feeling so excited. The next day, I jump out of bed. I can't wait to get to school today. I need to get dressed and talk to my mom about making a couple of stops to get the supplies before we go to school. My mom said she'd come back and help me at the end of the day. We're on our way. At school, I update my friends. I realize that it's also important I talk to my teacher about my idea. She says it's a great idea and that I can leave class early to go set up. I can't wait for my mom to show up. It's 3 o'clock, and it's time for me to slip out of class and meet my mom at the front of the school. I am so excited. My mom and I are setting up the table, banner, and all of our supplies. We're ready. The banner reads Tree Giveaway, and I have all the tree seedlings lined up on the table that I picked up from the local Forest Service. Here they come. Kids are starting to filter out of the front door. My friends are here now helping me at the table. It's so much fun to do this together. Kids start coming up to the table interested, and I explain more about the different trees we have and tell them that they're free to take some and plant them at home in their yard. And they do. Now there's a line of kids wanting to learn more and have one of their own trees to take home and plant. I feel so relieved and so excited that other people are interested in the cause. So I'm wondering, would you guys want to take a tree home? I know we were just saying one of our ideas was to plant more trees and where to find them. And when I did research, I found that we could pick some up from the local Forest Service. But before I had come up with this idea, I had no idea where to get them or how to plant them. But now that I've done more research, I think it'd be really fun to do with friends or family and use it as an opportunity to tell them more about it. So I'm wondering if you guys would want to take a tree home or if you'd want to do it with a friend or a sibling. I'm just wondering what you guys think.
So somebody says, yes, yes, yes. So they definitely want to do it. And then somebody also said, well, I'll take 2. And I mean, I would probably take a few because I do have some space in my yard still. So I could definitely plant a few more trees.
Yeah, and that's the next question I was going to ask. I was going to say, where would you plant it? Because I also want to keep some trees to plant in my backyard because I want to fill it in with some more plants.
And maybe if you go to a school that have a little bit of a yard, maybe you can ask your teacher to plant something there. Oh, and somebody says my grandma's house. I guess grandma has a big yard.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I hadn't even thought about taking
Maybe
it to
family, exactly. It doesn't have to be in your house, maybe neighbors or family. And it's always good as a gift. Like if you know that your neighbor is having a birthday, you can always give them a little plant. It's always something, that's very much appreciated.
Yeah, I think giving as a gift is also a perfect idea. But we ended up giving out over 200 trees. With the trees, we also gave out papers on the importance of planting them, how to take care of them, and how many animals depend on them as habitat. But oh no, I still have a lot of trees, and I don't think any more students are coming. What am I going to do with all these trees? As I start packing up, I look at the tree seedling I'm holding and think, wait, what about the field? I tell my mom to wait a minute while I run up to the principal who is standing by the front doors of the school. I explain to her what we did today and that we have some leftover trees and how they would be perfect in the empty field we have next to our school. She contemplates the idea for a couple of minutes and then smiles and says, sure, why not? It would look a lot better with some trees. I smile back and say, thank you. I run back to my mom and friends and explain what we can do with the rest of the trees. They agree to help and we start to fill in the empty field with all the leftover tree seedlings. I look up while I'm planting one of the last seedlings, and I observe the field with all the seedlings sitting in the sun. I think about Sammy. He told me to be a voice for those that aren't heard, and how these trees will provide homes for so many animals. I am proud of myself and my friends. I feel like we were able to do something simple but substantial. My heart feels full. I know that with more and more trees planted, we can make a true difference in the world. So my last question for you guys is, what do you think Sammy would say if he was here right now? Because I think Sammy would feel really proud of us in this moment and all that me and my friends were able to accomplish. And I think he would also feel really grateful that we took his message seriously and really wanted to help him make a change. But what do you think he would say?
Yeah, I believe so too. I think he would say, wow, So many trees. Thank you so much. But I'm looking at the chat and they are still trying to type something in, I believe.
Yeah, I think he would feel really happy.
Yes, I think he would be grateful. He would be so happy and so proud of us all.
Yes, I hope so. Well, thank you guys so much for coming along with me on this adventure. I hope this inspires you to make a change in the world in your own way. I'll see you next time. The end.
Well, Izzy, thank you so much. That was such a wonderful story. You have such a, storytelling gift. And thank you all for joining us. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that Aspen has inspired you to take care of our environment the best way we can. Every little thing that each and every one of us does helps the environment, and all those little bits count and make a big difference in the end. And so, Izzy, I do have one question for you. What do you have planned for Earth Day this year?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing quite yet, but I would love to maybe plant some trees or just other plants in general and just spend some time outside. And yeah, like we talked about, maybe be able to pick up litter or something like that.
Right. Yes. I was thinking the same way. I definitely want to spend some time in my yard and walking my dogs in the woods and picking up some litter as well. So yeah, those are good plans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I think it's time to say goodbye for now. But before we go, I would like to thank our sponsors, Biogen Foundation and our North Carolina Science Festival. And we also want to thank our Friends of the Museum members who support us every single day and who make events like this possible. So thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us. We do have a lot of other programs scheduled for this week, and we can post the link to our website. And so then you can register for all those programs as well. So we'll put that in the chat. And there will be a recording available for this program. So if you want to check it back or, rewatch the story, you can. So thank you so much, Izzy. It's been so wonderful to have you with us again. And thank you all for attending. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye. See you later.